For all those times you stood by me, for all the truth that you made me see, for all the joy you brought to my life, for all the wrong that you made right, for every dream you made come true, for all the love I found in you, I'll be forever thankful, baby. You're the one who held me up, never let me fall. You're the one who saw me through it all. You were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me, lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith 'cause you believe I'm everything I am because you loved me. Ooh. You gave me wings and made me fly. You touched my hand, I could touch the sky. I lost my faith, you gave it back to me. You said no star was out of reach. You stood by me and I stood tall. I had your love, I had it all. I'm grateful for each day you gave me. Maybe I don't know that much, but I know this much is true. I was blessed because I was loved by you. You were my strength when I was weak. You were my strength. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me, lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith 'cause you believed I'm everything I am because you loved me. Oh, you were always there for me, the tender wind that carried me, the light in the dark, shining your love into my life. You've been my inspiration through the lies you weren't true. My world is a better place because of you. You were my strength when I was weak. You were my strength. Voice when I couldn't speak. When I couldn't speak. When I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me. You did it. You gave me faith 'cause you believed I'm everything I am because you love me. My love, you saw the best there was in me. Believed I'm everything I am because you love me. Oh, I'm everything I am because you loved me.
Good afternoon, everybody. Now, in moments of cosmic serendipity, as Thomas faced the end of his journey through life, the song we've just heard kept popping up on YouTube and other media. Significantly, this was a favourite song of his late brother George, to whom Tom was very close, and who seemed to be telling him all was well and that they would meet again soon. That sense that people who have journeyed through life together reunite is something that many people of faith and none seem to intuit. It reflects the promise that Jesus made to his friends when he knew he must die and leave them rudderless. This is what he told them. Don't worry, you lot. I'm only going ahead of you. And when the time's right, I'll come back to show you the way to where I'm going, so we can be together again. And as you know, Jesus came from Clayton. So on Tom's behalf, welcome as we recall his story. Not everyone who would wish to be here could attend today due to the COVID pandemic, but we will share Tom on behalf of all who love him, whether they can be here or not. When Shakespeare compared the world to a stage, he likened our lives to stories in which people make entrances and exits, as over the course of a life they play many parts. Life can be viewed as the loom from which we draw colourful threads of romance, comedy, tragedy, drama, and other of life's adventures, as we each weave our own unique story, which is more about our responses to events than the events themselves. Of course, we're all characters in other people's stories too. Every one of us leaves footprints in other people's lives. So consider this. We're not here today because Tom has died. We're here because he lived. And the life Tom lived held meaning for every person here and others besides. As I share his story with you, as it was shared with me by key characters in his life, I'm mindful that you know more of this story than I do, because it's your story too. The following prayer was written by a member of the family. God, who sees us all, we thank you for the life of Thomas Woodworth. Though it is painful to gather to say goodbye to such an important person in our lives, we give thanks for the time that Thomas was among us and remember many happy occasions spent in his company, for which we are grateful. We express our gratitude as we listen to the words of the beloved hymn. The Beatles were riding the charts with Please Please Me when Edith Woodworth presented her husband Thomas a son who they named after his father. Tom was born on the 13th of May 1963. So as well as being a Taurus, we know Tom was a beautiful baby because in 1963, May the 13th fell on a Monday, and Oracles and nursery rhyme assure us that Monday's child is fair of face. Tom was one of 8 children. He has sisters named Jean, Brenda, Moira and Edith, and brothers Paul, Charles and George. There are many aunts, uncles, nephews, nieces and cousins flavouring Tom's story too, as well as friends, colleagues and neighbours. You may all miss him, but would any of you wish you had not known him to avoid the pain of grief? That I think is highly unlikely, for Tom was many things over the course of his years. His childhood began in Burnage, where he attended Green End Infant School, the Nicholas Hardwick, then Burley High in Hugh, and finally Brooklyn School in Wythenshawe. Tom met Debbie in 1987. Together they had 2 children, Kelly and Ashley. Our childhood holidays were in caravans, Kelly recalled. I remember one Halloween we were away, Dad put a pumpkin on his head and wired it up to the TV. Why you do? Is that why you're wearing yellow? The family also visited France and Disneyland. Over his working life, Tom worked in a petrol station, had a milk round, and worked for Manchester City Council as a labourer. He worked mostly with cars and in scrapyards. His last job was as a delivery supply driver for a cash and carry warehouse, but he had to retire when he developed brittle bone disease. One person who appreciated Tom's working skills was the old lady who got stuck in sand in her mobility scooter. Tom used his winch to extract her and her scooter from that tricky situation. You could just imagine her flying out. Tom's hobby was akin to his love of old cars and scrapyards, for he loved stock car racing and was a regular at the Demolition Derby in Buxton. Now in due course, Tom was promoted to the rank of grandfather to Tegan and Mason. He adored being a grandfather and he loved you very much indeed. They loved him too, as you are about to learn. Please welcome Tegan, as on her own and Mason's behalf she pays tribute to her granddad. Are you both coming up? No. Okay, away you go.
Grandad, I just wanted to let you know that I love you so much. My words can't explain how much I'm missing you. Why God so soon? Why take my granddad? Thank you for all the laughs, Grandad. Even when we lived over 30 miles away, you still managed.
Do you want me to read it for you, sweetheart? It is a very hard thing to do, and you've just been very brave. Even when we lived over 30 miles away, you still managed to always be there for me. I keep thinking about you, with them dodgy headphones on. Everything you took, every time you took them off, you even went out like that one time. Oh, excuse me, I'm blind in both eyes. Stand up. Ah, there we go. Every time you took them off, you'd have pieces of black all over your ears and face. You even went out like that one time. It still makes me laugh, seeing my mum trying to pick them off your face and you saying, "Oh, it's fine, I'm sure you used to just do it to wind us up." Remember the time you went to the hospital and on the way back you said you forgot something? Me and my mum asked what you said, and you said you forgot your stickers for being a good boy. Oh. At least now the cats will stop getting the blame for your farts, Grandad. Oh, how sweet. I've not heard them fart since you've been gone. That's interesting. You was kind and funny to be taken from us. Too kind and funny. And do you remember just before you got ill, we went to Congleton Park? It was cold and you kept trying to make me wear a jumper, but I refused to wear it. Well, I've also robbed a few t-shirts and jumpers of yours that I have been wearing. Time goes too fast. You didn't even get time to watch me and Mason grow up. I got 12 years, which I'm grateful for. Mason only got 7. Are you out on parole soon? When I sit and think of your smile, it hurts. Because I know you used your smile to make things better. And now it's gone. We have to try and get through this hardest time in our lives without the main man we ran to for help. It seems impossible at the minute. There's more. I'm just so grateful to have been given an amazing, loving and funny Grandad. You made me realise that I don't need a dad because I had you to show me what that fatherly love was. I will be forever thankful to God for giving you to us. You made me realise too that all the men in this world are bad. You bad. Oh, that's me as well, isn't it? Oh, not all the men in the world. Sorry. Where are we? You made me realise that not all the men in the world are bad. I wish this was all just a bad dream. I'm trying my best to be strong and make you proud because I know you'd hate seeing me in pain. You wanted me to be good in life, and I will do everything I can to do that for you, Grandad. I just wish I could hug you so tight, but I know I'd never let you go. When I'm older, I will be telling my kids how great you were and using you as an example of how men should treat women. I will never let you be forgotten. I promise you that I'm scared of letting you go, Grandad. I can't wait till that day comes when I can see you again and meet your family as they sound lovely from what you've told me about them. I love you more than words can say, Grandad. Before I finish, I'd just like to say a big thanks to all my friends and family for trying to make this horrible pain go away and for being there for me to talk to. I appreciate all the support from everyone. Goodbye for now, Grandad. Ladies and gentlemen, that was amazing. Well done. What an intelligent child and what wonderful words. Tom was a real hero to his children and his grandchildren. Someone they could go to for advice. Someone who was always ready to help with anything that would be good for them. He really could do anything he put his mind to and was well read on a wide range of practical issues. He was loving and caring and passionate about animal welfare too, especially wildlife. It's little surprise he was the go-to person who seemed to have the skills and the heart to achieve the impossible. They're all going to miss him enormously. Folk will miss that compassion that reached out to injured wild birds in their time of distress, his ability to put a smile on people's faces, and his endless stream of jokes and one-liners. Mason has inherited some of that fun-loving energy from Grandad, but is learning to keep his superpower under wraps to avoid getting under the skin of his teachers. After he died, Tom was caught out in a big fib. He used to tell people not to send him cards, as he didn't like them, and he always threw them away. But in his room, a massive collection of the cards he'd kept from many different people, from Christmas to birthdays, or just to say thank you, reveal at last that he seriously appreciated the appreciation. Tom was far from perfect. I mean, anyone who'd blame his farts on other creatures. But who of us is perfect? But is the mark of the man Tom was that people generally agree his big heart and his willingness to be there for others and to make them smile outweigh all else. His is a wonderful story. But stories, like anything that have a beginning, have to have endings. Tom died at MRI on the 30th of January. Now, some of you will be familiar with the Irish saying that goes, we die twice. Once when we take our final breath, and then again when our name leaves the lips of another person for the last time. So it's really important that you keep Tom, however you knew him, as dad, granddad, friend, brother, in the world of the living by sharing your memories of him. And I just want to say to you too, there's a way you could help these adults get over their grief, and there's a way they can help you. Because if you ask them how they're feeling, they'll probably tell you they're all right, but they're not. Because like this book, they're bold on the front, but inside, they're feeling blank, because this amazing guy has gone out their story. But as you get them to share their memories with you, they'll start to come back slowly, but surely. And if you can get them to concentrate really hard and share their memories with you, they'll come back so brightly that it'll be as if Grandad's pressed like flowers between the pages of your heart. And he will come back in all sorts of little ways, in your character, in things you remember. So, just share your memories. And now the poem You Never Said Goodbye by Tom Zart. You never said I'm leaving. You never said goodbye. You were gone before I knew it. And only God knows why. A million times we needed you. A million times we cried. If love alone could save you, you never would have died. In life we loved you dearly. In death we love you still. In our hearts you hold a place that no one else can fill. It broke our hearts to lose you, but we know you're not alone. A part of us went with you the day God called you home. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Tom, while we're not sure what comes next, we're pretty sure that something does. You see, science says all life began in a burst of stardust billions of years ago, and that when we lay it down, the carbon that formed us returns to the stars from which we borrowed it, as the earth breathes into the cosmos. And faith assures us there's a place beyond the stars, where loved ones meet again. And it seems that, like stories in books and films, our stories have sequels. We entrust you to this mystery now. Go with our love for who you were. Go with our gratitude for the life you lived. Go knowing we're proud of you and we won't forget you. Go in awareness that traces of you remain in your children, your grandchildren, that will one day blossom in others who have yet to be born. And go with our good wishes for all that is yet to be. At the beginning, I spoke of Shakespeare's comparing our lives to stories. The end of our stories may be shrouded in mystery, but trust the bard to also have something to say about this mystery. There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamed of in our philosophies. It's clear to me that people who knew him felt blessed to have Tom on their journey through life. But you need to leave here today assured Tom felt just as blessed to have each and every one of you share his journey through the world. He was proud of you and all that you are and all that you're becoming. So go in peace to love and support one another in the certain knowledge that Tom is reunited with those who went ahead and is safe in the embrace of a loving God.
For all those times you stood by me, for all the truth that you made me see, for all the joy you brought to my life, for all the wrong that you made right, for every dream you made come true, for all the love I found in you, I'll be forever mine, baby. You're the one who held me up, never let me fall. You're the one who saw through it all. You were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me. Lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith 'cause you believe. I'm everything I am because you loved me. You gave me wings and made me fly.
If you're able, can I ask everyone to stand?
How did they connect? I did stick off some button, but